All right, guys, welcome to my video. We're going to be talking about ECU remapping and whether you should do it. And we're going to go through a bunch of reasons why you should and you shouldn't, and the truth pretty much about ECU mapping. So basically, remapping the ECU, also called chipping, is essentially a way to get more power out of your car's engine. And we're just going to go in depth on what it is. Pretty much remapping, tuning, chipping, they're essentially the same term. Modern vehicle engines essentially have an electronic management system that essentially controls fueling. The system is run by the brain of your engine, which is the ECU or ECM. ECU is the engine control unit, or ECM is the engine control module. When you put your foot down accelerator, the ECU decides how much fuel and air to mix to squirt into the cylinder and ignite. Diesel and petrol engines work a bit differently, but that isn't really important to what we're talking about right now. The ECU also controls the boost of the turbo, if there is one in your vehicle. If you have your engine remapped, chipped, or tuned, the ECU parameters can be changed, which could give you more performance, in many cases more economy from your engine. So how would you go about remapping your engine? And this is done in couple different ways, and the most common is to connect to the vehicle's diagnostic port for the OBD2 port, and you can reflash the software on the ECU with a standard map for the vehicle that you have. And this does need special equipment, since all of it is done with software. A new map can be uploaded to your vehicle's ECU pretty quickly and can often be completed in less than an hour. Now, the second way to do this is you could get better results, but it would cost more to have a custom remap of your vehicle. The car or vehicle is connected to a laptop, but instead of uploading a one-size-fits-all remap, the parameters for your individual vehicle can be altered, and this is usually combined with runs on a dynometer, so your car's performance and fueling are checked and tweaked all the way through the rev range. It is also possible to use a piggyback device that attaches to the ECU with some vehicles. There are lots of devices in the market. A lot of them are very cheap, and you could often fit them yourself, but usually they just make the vehicle run richer and aren't really of any use. Getting your car remapped with someone who knows what they're doing and will do it properly, it's probably the better way to go. So you're asking yourself, if it's that easy, why don't manufacturers do it? This is a common question. There are several reasons why car manufacturers don't supply the car or your vehicle already maximized as far as the performance and economy goes. The first is because manufacturers essentially focus mainly on reliability. Some people look after their cars, regularly servicing them and taking care of their car, and some people don't do that other than just putting gas or diesel in or fuel in. There are also different grades of fuel depending on where you are. So in the perfect world, everybody would look after their car and fuel would be good quality everywhere you go. Since this isn't the case, then if manufacturers err on the side of safety and supply their vehicles at a less than optimal tune, then there's a higher chance of it lasting longer. This means that the manufacturer gets a reputation for reliability, as their cars are less likely to break down. If you are prepared to service your car, look after a bit, and also use good fuel, then having the engine remap won't really be an issue. The other issue is that manufacturers often have a range of vehicles, and the most powerful vehicles in the range is usually the most expensive. So these car manufacturers often stifle the performance of engines to make sure that there's a clear difference in powers as you step up the range. In some cases, you can buy a cheaper version of the car or van and then remap it to equal or beat the next model in range. While there is extra performance available from the engine, this isn't the only benefit. As long as you're willing to drive normally, then you can probably increase the MPG. It depends on the vehicle, but some people report up to 5 miles per gallon more after remapping. So if you do enough miles, then you can recoup the money that remap costs. You have to remember that a heavy foot on the accelerator will still use fuel whether it's remapped or not. The other thing is that if you have a vehicle that carries heavy loads, then sometimes the remap can really help the drivability of the vehicle, giving you more acceleration and zoom rather than crawling up the hill. So should you get your vehicle remapped? And there are several things that you need to keep in mind when thinking about getting your vehicle remapped. The first thing is to think about what sort of an engine you have in their. Turbocharged vehicles, both petrol or diesel, can usually see the best gains remapping. These can lead to a huge difference in performance gains as the boost from the turbo can be increased. Naturally aspirated engines will not give you the same performance gains. If you are running a small in a naturally aspirated engine, then remapping may increase the drivability and give you a small performance boost, but you have to weigh up the cost and think about whether a small increase in performance will be worth the money. The larger and more powerful the engine is in the first place, the more gains you get from remapping. As far as increasing MPG is concerned, extra performance is really not the only thing you get from remapping. The economy of the car can often be increased as well, but this depends on how the car is driven. In an ideal world, you won't drive any faster than before and you'll see better fuel performance. Of course, what tends to happen is that you have more performance from the remap, so you use the extra performance and end up using more fuel than before. Once you get used to the power and start driving normally again, you see better MPGs. It is also possible to get a remap that is specifically designed to increase fuel economy. Performance is compromised at the cost of economy and these sort of maps, but this is something some people, cab drivers for instance, are happy about, since they don't care about the performance and just want higher MPGs. If you guys have a petrol car remap, then you might find that you need to run the car on premium high octane fuel to stop engine pre-detonation, which can damage the engine. The increased cost of premium fuel is not a problem. The engine is providing more performance, but that may matter to some people, so this is something else to keep in mind. Not all remap necessitate the use of premium fuels. You should ask the person that is remapping your vehicle just to ensure that you don't cause any damage. So basically, if you guys are considering remapping your vehicle, what you guys want to do is you guys want to do your research. There really isn't much point having a remap unless everything else is in good condition. So it's a good idea to have your vehicle checked over first before you go ahead with the remap. You also want to bear in mind that your insurance company should be told about the remap, which might lead to an increase in your premium. Anyway, hope this has helped you guys out. If you guys have any questions, definitely leave a question in the comment section. Please subscribe, please give me a thumbs up, all that good stuff. If you guys have any of your own personal opinions on this, definitely leave a comment in the comment section. All right guys, take care.